Hi, my name is Alice and I'm just about to finish my double degree in Law and Arts, and next year in 2017 I'll be employed by the Supreme Court of Tasmania as an associate.
My name's Genevieve Sander. I work for the Department for Communities and Social Inclusion as a workforce strategist within our People and Culture Directorate.
I'm Brenton Illingworth. I'm a Managing Prosecutor with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution.
My name's May-Elaine Woods. I'm a HR Advisor at Cobham Aviation Services.
Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm a Project Officer at Renewal SA in the South Australian Housing Trust Transfer Project. I graduated from Adelaide Uni at the end of 2014 and joined the graduate program that the Department for Communities and Social Inclusion run, and from there wound up at Renewal a few months ago.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm entering the workforce into the Australian Federal Government and I'm in my final year of a Bachelor of Laws.
My name's Anna Kennett. I'm a Senior Employee Relations Consultant with the Department for Communities and Social Inclusion, and I'm a law graduate.
My name's William Gloucester. I finished my undergrad law degree earlier this year and I'm currently doing my GDLP at Adelaide in combination with the Law Society. So I finished uni and I'm starting in February with the Department of Defence in Canberra.
Normally in a resume we look for somebody who's well-rounded. We understand that when graduates start their journey for their careers, that they don't always have a long list of jobs that they've already undertaken in the past. So perhaps some experiences outside of their degree, which may be a part-time job, which may be participation in a community group or a sporting group. It may be that they've volunteered for something, that they've worked with other people in another setting.
With DCSI, all of our applications are an online-based application process where you will need to answer some behavioural questions. So for us, no matter what role you're applying for, whether it's the graduate program or whether it's another role within our department, you'll be required to complete some behavioural questions. So I guess that's our first point of call. How well do you answer those questions? And it's looking at simple things like following the instructions with that. So if there's a word limit of 250 words, making sure that you stick to, as close as you can to that word count, making sure you've got good grammar, and then also using that STAR approach, which is what we really strongly look for when you're answering those questions. So the situation, task, actions and result. That's really what you get ranked on in a first instant to see how well you answer those, and then we go and look at your resume to back up your answers.
So I guess if you look from a perspective of aviation, if we're looking for life experiences, we don't expect that everyone comes to us with a flying qualification, but you may be involved in the aviation industry in a different way. You may be a cadet within the RAF. You may be volunteering with a group that's based at the airport. You might be fundraising for the RFDS. Any of those type of activities that still align with the organisation are positive to see. The other thing that's important too is Cobham has a Spirit value set. So the acronym SPIRIT is safety, performance, innovation, relationships, integrity and trust. So having a look at an organisation's value set and then seeing what you've done in your career or your activities that can align with those values. So seeing things within a resume that draw a parallel to that and acknowledge that that's what's important to the organisation is something that we would also be keen to see.
Look, I think it's a really valuable thing to have done, especially because there's often so many people coming out of uni with a degree, whether that's law or something else. So having opportunities to stand out that little bit more and utilise skills in different ways, whether they're specific to the degree or not. We often look quite highly upon people that have gone and done volunteer work or been involved with a community group or even a sporting club, something like that. I guess they give you a lot more depth to who you are as a person, but also help you answer those behavioural questions and make you stand out that little bit more. So often people get a bit caught up in going, oh, I need a work example. That's not necessarily the case. If you can demonstrate how being part of a community group you've been able to show leadership or teamwork, then again that'll help you stand out.
But one of the most important things I think I learned, particularly being in a law firm as a young lad, was I learned more from the staff, the admin staff, the secretaries, the rounds clerks in the first 12 or 18 months than I could possibly have imagined. And so when you come out of your degree at the end of your 5 years or whatever it is, and you've done your GDLP or PLT or whatever it is you do these days, one shouldn't lose sight of the fact that the people who are going to teach you a lot are not necessarily going to be the lawyers. It'll be the people that you work with. Your secretarial staff, your law clerks, if you're in a litigation team, the admin officers for those teams. And I learned very quickly how little I really did know when I started. And I think young lawyers will find that they don't know much at all when they start, and they've got to realise that. And you're just at the beginning then. Your law degree is just a piece of paper. It's what happens after that that becomes important.
I think the most important have been legal research and statutory interpretation, probably the key ones. Also the ability to write clearly and succinctly is really valued. Also just drawing on the knowledge of the different areas of law that you cover while you're at uni, things you might not ever expect to use, like corporate or administrative law, really become incredibly relevant in particularly work in government.
So I undertook a clerkship with the South Australian Crown Solicitor's Office, and the main thing that I took away from that was that the government was really a place that I wanted to work. So when I was exposed to that environment, it really spoke to me in that you're looking to work for the public good, which and working towards making a better either South Australian environment or a federal environment as I'm going into, and that's a place that I wanted to be in my future.
I learned a few things from a law degree. I think the most important one is the obvious one. That's being able to read legalese, being able to read legislation, case law. Even if you don't end up being a practitioner, you're still going to be, obviously, not obviously, but still there's a pretty good chance you'll be in a sphere that has legal implications, that has legal elements to it. And being able to be that person who can speak the language, so to speak, is a very useful skill.
Providing detailed, technically accurate written and verbal communication is probably the number one. Negotiation and advocacy I certainly use on a daily basis. And also I think that the biggest thing my law degree taught me, and although it might not be a stereotypical thing you take out of a law degree, is patience. Patience and persistence is probably the number one skill that I use hourly within this environment.
So the skills that I've gained through my law degree have definitely helped me gain employment, and I'll also be using in my career as a lawyer or in the law. I think definitely it's been important to work with others, and the group work that we've done at uni, as much as that can be a bit of a chore for some people. You're always going to be in a working environment with other people, and learning how to work with people who you might not necessarily choose to spend time with has been a really valuable lesson. Also at law school, the research skills that you're taught from first year really do pay off, to know when you're working in a legal office, when someone asks you to look up a case and you go straight to Austlii and figure it out. I was just rambling then. I had no idea. Yeah. Also, extracting key information from things that may seem like a very big problem, being able to understand what the key issues are and the key important things to solving a problem is also invaluable. So don't discount that kind of learning.
The skills I picked up mostly through trial and error on my own part, and learning things from friends. And they're useful skills to have, but also being able, knowing that if you have to, you can wade through 100 pages of a case in order to find that one thing. It's never going to be fun, but you know that you can do it at the end of the day. And that applies whether it's legal research or whether you're looking through a policy memo or an health and safety document or a contract for a building program, whatever. being able to wade through that and understand what you're wading through, whilst not necessarily running on your 15th cup of coffee is usually a good thing.
I think law graduates can bring a huge variety of skills that aren't necessarily about practicing law. So your ability to write, you've got really good technical writing abilities. You can be really analytical, which is something, again, we look really strongly upon. The other thing is communication skills, so being able to verbally communicate, but also communicate in writing. A lot of what we do is working across departments, across divisions, between clients at different levels. So having that really clear understanding of how you would talk to different groups of people as well, how to write concisely, and also be critical thinkers. I guess they're some of the really key things that, while you might think, oh, they're just the side bit of what my degree is, are actually really sought after skills. So if you can hone down and work on those, they're things that we look really strongly upon.
The other key thing I picked up was communication, being able to stand up in front of a group of people and put your case to them, or put what you need to put to them, or on a smaller level, whether that's how can I put this? Whether that's you speaking to a client or someone else, being able to speak to them in a way that gets the message across without being rude or arrogant or brash, but just saying what needs to be said, but doing it in a method that's clear and concise and useful. And that's a very important skill, whatever you're doing, whether you're a solicitor or whether you're a public servant.
The practical experience that we've had to engage in subjects later on in the law degree wouldn't have been possible without the base and theory knowledge that we learn in the first few years at uni.